Hi guys, and welcome back to the Canadian Glam Mam channel. Glam Mam here, and today's tutorial is going to be a in-depth foundation contour highlight routine. For those of you that have watched my previous videos, you know that I have been skipping straight to getting the eyeshadows and lips done. So today's video is just going to concentrate on just strictly the foundation and the basics of your face. Before we get into that, I do want to show a couple things to you. So for any of you that follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, you know that I've been waiting with bated breath for my new business cards, and they finally arrived. So I did order them through Vistaprint, so for 100 business cards, it was under $20, and they were here within less than a week. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one of them. Keep in mind I have blanked out my phone number because again, this is social media, it's all over the internet, and people don't need to know my personal contact information. And for those of you that are seeking out to use me as your makeup artist, you will know how to get in contact with me further without me having to post my phone number all over the internet. So let's just start with the front of the card. It is a kind of matte finish. It's not a glossy finish. It has a little bit of sheen to it, but not too much. And it has my brand on it, of course. And then you flip over to the back, so this is my phone number that's blanked out. And this is a nice high gloss, and it was a full color card, and even a picture of me on there. And yeah, so for under 100 cards under $20, I couldn't be happier. So a shout out to Vistaprint for that. Thank you so much, guys. Another thing I wanted to mention is a quick do-it-yourself project. If you can see up in the back there, you normally don't see my containers that I store my products in, but that is one of them. Today I went out, I was looking for a neat idea that I could do a do-it-yourself project to make some containers for my products so that I can bring them with me. This one obviously will be staying here because it's an open top, but I went ahead and made a container. This I think was using a old cookie jar that I had laying around for coffee biscuits, and it's one that I wanted to store my cosmetic rounds in to take with me in my bag for my customers. And this way you're not hauling around, you know, the whole big plastic thing. It looks a lot more tidy and neat, and they will keep them a lot more clean and dry than your standard bag that they come in with. And this way you can just take as many as you need and don't have to bring the whole container with you. And for those of you that like to, you know, do it yourself and pinch some pennies rather than spending like $10, $15 on an acrylic container, you know, you can use what you have laying around the house. And all I did was use some decorative duct tape. So for most Canadians, duct tape's where it's at. So yeah, just a quick do-it-yourself. If you'd like to see more of those kind of projects, just make sure you leave a comment in the section below, and I will definitely see what I can do to showing you some of that. So let's get things started. I am going to be using the same products. I do have a few more products, quite a few, coming up. So as soon as they all arrive, I will be doing a big beauty haul for you, and it will include some new skincare products, some new hair products, and of course makeup. So to start things off, I'm going to be using the NYC Smooth Skin Perfecting Primer. This is the shade 684. I will leave all the products I use in the description box below so that if I miss something, you can go ahead and check it out down there. So I'm just going to be taking just a little bit of this product on my fingers. I just like to move it back and forth so it makes it more pliable, and just apply this to your whole face. I do go down my neck because I like to bring my foundation down my neck, so I want that to be just as flawless and set as the rest of my face. I'm just going to put the lid back on that, and I'm going to be going in with my favorite foundation at the moment, and it is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I'm in the shade 130 Buff Beige, and this is from the Hydrate and Smooth collection. Again, for those of you that see my video, you know that I struggle with dry skin, so I do need something that's a little bit more moisturizing than most. I'm just going to put a drop of this, not too much, on the back of my hand. Taking my flat top kabuki brush, I'm just going to gently pat that in to the product that I have, and starting on the outer side of my face on my cheek area, I'm just going to do small circular motions and back and forth motions, sweeping that product across my face. And if you do this, you will, a little bit of this product will go a long way. You know, I find if you use cosmetic wedges, beauty blenders are great, but they do have a tendency to pick up and absorb more product than these brushes do, so you will be using a lot more product than if you were to use a brush like this. So just that one little dab did the whole bottom of my face and my neck area. The reason I bring it down my neck is sometimes, especially if you're in between seasons like winter and we're into spring now, the sun is out a little bit more, your skin changes and the color changes of your skin as well. So the foundation color that I use in the winter time is not necessarily the foundation color that I will use in the summer when I have a tan. And that's an important thing to remember. I do notice a lot of women, you know, they pick a shade that whatever time of the year that they're using, and they find come winter time it's not working as properly, and you know there are complaints about that, or the same color that they use in the summertime they go to use it in the winter, and then you notice a really dark line right across here because, for one, it's not the correct shade of their face is in at that time, and two, if you're not bringing it down your neck, it's not going to match the rest of your skin tone. So once you've got your complete base done, I just go quickly back in and just in circular motions and back and forth really work this into my skin, working around. And that's the great thing about this flat top, is you can get right into that nose crease area and up, just brushing it right up under your eye, and really get a full coverage in all those hard to reach areas that sometimes, if you're using other applicator products, can't always get into. And it does leave a very nice smooth finish without streaks and blotchiness. It really does apply it smoothly. Pardon me. So if you have leftover on your hand, you can go ahead and wash them. I just use a cosmetic wipe it away, and we're done with that. So next I concentrate on my under eyes. And for those of you who watch my video, you know that I have dark under eyes and that I'm going to be using a technique to brighten up my under eyes before I go ahead and put my under eye concealer on. So for any of you that struggle with dark eyes and don't feel the need to go out and spend, you know, $20, $30 on a correcting palette, a quick, easy trick is, I'm working with the Shani cosmetic products right now, but I just grab a red-based eyeshadow, and I just grab some of that on my finger. Don't be alarmed, I know it is very bright, but as soon as you go and put your concealer over top of it, it very much blends it out and you won't notice. So I just start and I just move this back and forth in that dark crease area underneath my eye, and so it looks very bright. But like I said, as soon as you work this out with your corrective, or your concealer, pardon me, it will blend in smoothly and you won't have a dark circle and you won't see any of that red. And I just repeat the same step on the other eye. So again, going in, placing just a little bit. You don't need a whole lot, and I bring it right up to the bridge of my nose. And just pack that underneath. So it brings color to your under eye where you would normally be purple or blue or really dark concentrated, and it helps brighten the area up. I just hear my daughter waking up, so I am going to have to pause this video and come back to it. So I'll be right back. And we're back. So for those of you that are wondering why I didn't just cut all this out, I find that so many videos of gurus online right now have so perfect editing that from the beginning to the very end they look flawless, and you don't see the behind the scenes of them screwing up and having to fix it or doing 30 takes to get the perfect intro. And for those of you that are looking for that, you are not going to find that here on my channel. I want to show you that I am just like you guys, and life does get in the way. Like, what you haven't seen is that for the last hour I was feeding and changing and reclothing my daughter, and you know, she spit up on her outfit and I had to rechange her again, and then I dropped the baby powder and you know, had to silently curse underneath my breath because it's 2:30 in the morning and the rest of my family is sleeping. So if you're looking for a flawless start to finish, you are not going to find that here. I want to very much take this for everyday women, and I'm not saying that all the rest of the gurus aren't, you know, they don't have everyday day-to-day lives, but I just don't have, you know, the 4 to 5 hours out of a day to sit and edit one video. I want to get them up, I want to get them going, and I want you guys to see that I'm just like you. So from there, we're going to move on and finish this off. So for my concealer for my under eye, I'm going with my very much trusted IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. So this is a full coverage concealer, so you do not need a lot. Oh, and just a disclaimer, because I know that it is going to be commented somewhere down the line. You did a big no-no, you put powder on top of a cream, and now you're putting cream on top of that powder. This is not something I would normally do. It's definitely not something I would do with my clients, but I am trying, you know, for people that are paying for that finished look. But for myself, you know, I don't feel the necessary need for myself to go out and buy a concealer corrector palette. For my clients, I do have one, but for myself, I don't find I need it. I don't need all the other touch-ups. I just need this red underneath to balance out the dark circles under my eyes. And for me, it doesn't make that big of a difference. I don't find huge creasing or anything like that. I just find it's a waste of money, in my opinion. And if you want to, go, by all means, go out and buy the corrector palette. But if you're, you know, on a budget, like myself, you know, I'm a mother of 2 kids. You know, my husband and I aren't millionaires. So, by any means, why would I go out and spend $20 on a corrective palette when I can use a shadow palette that I already have and achieve the same thing? You know, it might not be as flawless, but for an everyday mom, you know, I'm not going to sit and nitpick at everything just to run to the grocery store for 10 minutes. So, again, like I said, my channel's not going to be perfect. It is, the whole point of this is to show you I'm an everyday person with an everyday life. You know, things get in the way. I cut corners here and there because, like most people, realistically, we don't have $500–600 to go and buy the top high-end concealers, correctors, foundations, and stuff. I am working with what I can afford. So, anyways, going back to that, I'm just taking a little bit, and I'm just going to pat that like so, and again on the other eye. And I like using my fingers for my concealer under my eye because I find that it gets, it warms this product up really nicely, and I can get, like, I can push it into my skin and get a better outcome than a lot of the concealer brushes. I find the concealer brushes, especially with the few that I've worked with, definitely leave a streak. So for applying it, I use my fingers because this concealer does not come with an applicator. And afterwards I will go in with my beauty blender and blend this out, so I don't have to worry too much. So once I get it where I need it to go, like so, I'm going to take my damp beauty blender and I'm just going to start patting this, and this will pick up any of the excess product that I do not need under my eyes, and it will help prevent creasing. And that's why I'm not too concerned with using a shadow over top of a cream and then putting a cream over top of it, because again, this beauty blender, you know, a lot of people would be like, it's $10 for a sponge, but realistically, I used to think the same way, and I worked with the cosmetic wedges on myself from the dollar store for years, and I wasn't really too picky on it until I tried one of these, and I mean, I will never go back to using the cosmetic wedges again for myself. And I like to go right ahead after I've done this and put my translucent powder over top of that, just to help prevent any creasing. So I just take a little bit, tap some in the lid. You do not need a whole lot. Taking a fluffy brush, powder brush, and I'm just going to do a quick tapping motion across this, and this will just help set the concealer right away. The other ones I don't worry about too much doing it like immediately, but for this one it is a full coverage and it is so thick. It's a great product, but I find if you do not go in right away and set that, it will start to settle in the fine lines into your eye. Like, it's normal to expect some, but when it starts creasing and the product starts separating and you're noticing really, really, really distinctive under eye lines, is you know that you didn't set it properly. So nextly, I'm going to go and even out the rest of my face. So following my T-zone line, I am going to be taking a different concealer because I don't need that high coverage for what I'm going to do. This is simply to highlight and even out the coloration in my face. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline New York Fit Me Concealer in the shade 15 Fair. And I'm going to put some in the center of my forehead. Bring some straight down the bridge of my nose. On my Cupid's bow. Oops. And on my chin. Once I've done that, this is where the Beauty Blender comes into play again, and I'm just going to push this all into my skin, and I'm just dabbing, like pushing in a pushing motion. I'm not wiping because I don't want it to move around. I just simply want to push that product and blend it in with my foundation. And a beauty blender, if you are in a pinch and can't afford a beauty blender, wetting your cosmetic wedge will do pretty much the same thing. And you have your evened out skin tone. And I'm just going to go ahead and set that with my translucent powder. The one I'm using is the same one I use in my videos, this NYC Smooth Skin Translucent Powder in the shade 741A. And again, just tapping some into the lid, grabbing a powder brush. I find the bigger the powder brush, the better the application. And for this, tapping off the excess and just going in and applying this all over your face. And this just helps set your foundation and your concealer together. And I'm just gently wiping this and dusting it all over my face. And that is your foundation and concealer done. So next I'm going to be going in and doing my contour. So for my contour, you've seen the video of me doing a quick review of these, and you've seen me use them in my last couple of videos if you've watched them. And I am in love with these palettes from Beige. This is a blush duo palette. This dark tan bronzy color right here is just, it's not a flattering color for me to use as a blush, but I do absolutely love it for my contour. So taking a small powder brush, I'm going to pick up some of that product, I'm going to tap off the excess, and following, you can see right here, I have a natural dimple in my cheek, so following from my hairline up by my ear, I'm going to gently bring this down right underneath where my cheekbone sits, and I'm just going to swoop it down a bit. And the reason you don't bring it right into your corner of your mouth, it looks very, the angle looks very off. You're just trying to cast a shadow to give you that more defined cheekbone look. It helps if you have a very round face like mine, you know, and it will just help shave off some of those pounds in your face and give you a more angled look. So again, starting at the cheek line, or the hairline, sorry, I'm just going to lightly, not using a lot, dust that in and then just bring it down just a little bit. And already you can notice that it's starting to define my cheekbone. So I go back and forth in the line, and then I do small circles and bring it up towards my hairline. I'm not one for a very, very strong contour. I do like a more natural, lighter contour, but you can add as much product as you desire. Again, I'm just showing you tips and tricks to help with your makeup routine, but at the end of the day, we're all individuals. We all like different things. We all find different things flattering on our face. And, you know, what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for the next person. And I think as a society we tend to forget that quite often because we are so consumed with what the next biggest celebrity is doing, what product they're using, and we forget to be individuals. We are very much following trends, and I think the sooner we realize as a society and start to embrace our individuality, the better off us as a society is going to be. But that's just my personal opinion. Next, I'm going to take the same thing, and I'm just going to pat some on the ridge of my nose. And that will help give you more depth and dimension to your nose. And I like to use my finger for this and smudge it back and forth a little bit until I get the right contrast of color that I like, because I don't really like it too dark. And then I just take that brush and just, again, blend it out. Grabbing some more product on the brush, I like to create an angle right on my jawline. And then just blend back and forth. And this, again, will very much try to angle, shape your face, sorry. I'm just gonna, so that you can see that better, hopefully. And then I take a thicker powder brush and just kind of go back and forth. It was the same powder brush that I used for my translucent powder. And like so. And lastly, just taking the very small bit of powder, I'm just going to go up here on the temple of my forehead. I have a natural cowlick, so it works easy for me to be able to figure out exactly where I want to apply it. But I tried to leave the center of my face blank and then just stay on the outer corners so that I can, when I place my highlight, it's going to even out with highlight and contour. Once I've placed that, using that big powder brush again, I'm just going to buff that back into my hairline to get a more blended look. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my brush. So I'm going to stay with this palette. It is brighter, so you will be able to see it better. Taking a blush brush, I'm just going to pick up some of that product, tap that off, and then following the cheekbone, you can put some on your apples of your cheek and then brush it up towards your hairline. Just don't put too much on the apples of your cheek unless you want the focus to be there. Wherever you touch first with your brush is going to be where it is placed darkest. And if you're working with a little bit lower end cosmetics, it's not going to blend in as smoothly, so you really want to concentrate where you are placing that. So I like to start right here. It is sort of by my apples of my cheek, but I don't want those, you know, big circles. It's just not flattering on somebody like me that already has a naturally round face. So if you have a naturally round face and you are trying to make it more sleek, slim looking, just stick to concentrating on the cheekbone itself and stay away from the apples of your cheek. And so once I've placed that, I'm just going to, in circular sweeping motions up towards my hairline, I'm just going to blend that in. And that will sit right above that contour line. I'm hoping you can see all this good with these lights in here. Okay, I apologize about that. It's going to be a little choppy right there. My camera stopped working for a few minutes. So again, repeating the same thing that we did here on the other side. And starting where you want the product and just sweeping up towards your hairline and then blending in circular motions and with a sweeping motion, like I'm taking the brush and I'm circling it and then I'm flicking it out up into my hairline. Like so. And then just make sure they're even in coloration. So again, quickly, if anybody is looking, if you've got a more slender face and you want to bring more of a fuller look to your face, concentrate most of your color on the apples of your cheek and blending out. And if you have a more round face like myself and you want to bring more of that narrow in, stay away from the apples of your cheek and just concentrate on your cheekbone and sweeping motions up into your hairline. So nextly, I'm going to be taking a highlighter, and this is my favorite at the moment, the WetNWild Illuminating palette in the shade 320 Catwalk Pink. I just find this is a very versatile, gorgeous highlighter palette, and it cost me less than $5 for it. And I mean, I've used it in my last video. I used it as a shadow as well, so it's very versatile. You can use it for a lot of different things. So I'm concentrating on these lighter colors to kind of complement the lighter blush that I have on. And I'm going to take that small fluffy brush again. I do have some new brushes coming that I'm excited to show you, but that will hopefully be in one of my upcoming videos. It's probably going to be about 2 more videos from now. I'm just wanting to wait until I have all the product. So right above where we just placed that blush, on the very, very top high point of your cheekbone and under this eye crease, just do sweeping motions up towards your hairline, and this is just going to accent your natural facial features and the ones that we just created using the other products. And I just like to, I'm hoping that you can see that reflective. It's not picking up the brightest at the moment. And I'm just going to do sweeping motions with this. I myself personally like a very, very strong highlight because I find it makes my face a lot more slender looking and it's more appealing on my face. For those of you that like a little bit of a weaker highlight, you don't have to use as much product. You can just do one quick sweep and be done with it. So I'm going to take it in the same places that I placed all the concealer. So again, just doing a quick brush back and forth on my Cupid's bow and on the center of my forehead, staying away from the contours that we placed up here, just right where we put that concealer before. Alright guys, that is it for my foundation routine. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. You can still get in on the giveaway draw by placing hashtag #PickMe in the comments section. And until next time, remember to inspire and be inspired. Thanks. Bye guys.